Hey friends, welcome back to my kitchen. My name is Christine, and today I am whipping together a batch of homemade bagels. It's only 5 ingredients. You probably have the items in your pantry right now, but let me show you the steps. It's actually not as hard as you think, and it's actually kind of fun. So come on with. Okay, so we're gonna start out with our 5 cups of flour here. I just went ahead and put it in the bowl, and then I'm going to add my yeast, which is 1.5 tablespoons. So there's 1, and then my half tablespoon there, and then there is salt, which is going to be just a teaspoon, and it's kind of to taste too. But I just love the simplicity of this recipe, and just wait until you see how this stuff turns out. All right, and then it is 1 tablespoon of sugar, and this is almost basically like a bread recipe, but you don't need to let it rise. So I'm adding 1 tablespoon of sugar, and then I've got my water warmed up, and I'm adding 1 3/4 cup, and it's about between 105 and 110 degrees. But I'm first gonna meld these few things together here, and then I'm gonna kind of stir as I go with adding the water, and it's gonna be a really shaggy dough. Let's see, how am I gonna do this? This will be easier. All right, so we're just gonna add it all in, and then we're gonna pull it out onto the cutting board and knead it for like 5 minutes or so until it becomes smooth. So let me get that going. I'm gonna finish this up and get this dough shagging. Okay, so here's kind of what they mean when they say shaggy dough. So there's not, it's not real smooth around the edges. So right now I'm going to dump it out onto my cutting board here, which I use to kind of knead everything on. And I'm just going to add some flour to the surface. Not too much, because this has quite a bit of flour in it, but just so it doesn't stick. And I'm just gonna get my bench knife out and get it out here, and then start the process of kneading it until it's actually smooth. So I'm gonna do that for roughly 5 minutes or so, and wait until you see what it looks like. It's pretty exciting. Okay, I think I'm pretty much done. I just gave it the poke test. You want to poke your finger in it, and it bounces back a little bit. So now I'm just going to kind of smooth this out and just kind of make it as even as I can, because we're going to cut this up into roughly 10 to 12 pieces and then roll it out into balls. So let me smooth this out. Okay, so we are going to use our bench knife and just kind of, I think I'm gonna go across first. Okay, I went and grabbed my scale because you want them roughly about 3 ounces or so. This is a little bit large for that. But after we're done rolling all these into about 3-ounce balls, we're gonna let them rest, and then we'll get to shaping. So that's pretty good ounces. So I'm gonna get doing this, and we'll see you after I'm done. Okay, so it's been about 10 minutes or so, and you just kind of want the gluten to rest a little bit after you've played with it so much. So now comes the fun part. This is where they start taking shape into a bagel. And I'm still kind of crafting it, but I always kind of try to make sure that the edges are pinched together. And you just basically make a hole in the middle, and then you want to get both of your fingers in there and just kind of swirl it like this. And then they don't look perfect. Like this one's almost in the shape of a heart, but you want to make sure that there's at least an inch and a half hole in the middle. And then I'm just gonna set it back down. And then I'm just gonna go over, I actually got a baker's dozen out of that one, so I have 13 here. And I'm just gonna continue to do that. Meanwhile, I have my water started, because we need to boil these. We're gonna boil them on each side roughly 30 seconds. And then after that's when they go in the oven. But after I'm done with this, I'm going to wet down a tea towel and let them rest for about 30 minutes. And then that's kind of when they do their rise, you know, because we did put yeast in this. So I'm just gonna go through and get these all done, and I'll show you the end result. Isn't that kind of fun? Okay, now for the fun part. It's been about a half hour. I just turned my oven on to get it to 350. These look like they have risen underneath my wet towel, and I've got my water to a rolling boil. So you literally, I kind of found that using a serrated spoon seems to work the best. And I'm just gonna kind of put about 3 in at once and set my timer for 30 seconds, flip them, and then you just keep going. So there's no kind of real rhyme or reason to it, but I'm just literally setting them in there. 2, 3, and then timer, 30. And then what this does, it gives the bagel that real like tacky, tackiness that they have on the top. So about 20 seconds left, and then I'm gonna set them right back down on the paper. And then I'm going to take my beaten egg and then put my seasoning on. And I'm doing about half and half for seasoning for everything bagel seasoning, and I'm gonna sweeten it up for, there we go. And now I'm just gonna take my spoon and flip them over and do the same thing, 30 seconds. Yeah, they really they're not the prettiest, so don't mind what they look like. They sure taste great though. But yeah, so I'm gonna make about half and half. I have some cinnamon sugar and the everything bagel seasoning. So I'm just gonna keep going with this. About 15 seconds left, and you can see kind of what they look like. They kind of swell up and what have you. And you want to make sure that the water is a rolling boil. That's super important. There we go. And I'm just gonna pop those off. And that's why I said the serrated spoon seems to work the best. And they do puff up. So you gotta make sure and have enough room on your tray, which mine might be pretty close. And now, before I put the next ones in, I'm just gonna douse these on the top. And then if you need more than one beaten egg, just go ahead and do that. But I found that this works the best just with one. And then there's my oven is ready. So now I'm just putting my cinnamon sugar on, and this is just my little homemade stuff, and then the extra will fall off that doesn't stay on. All right, well, I'm gonna keep moving and grooving, and I'll see you when they're ready to go into the oven. Okay, we are officially done putting all of our goodies on there. So now my oven is preheated to 350. And I'm just going to put them in for roughly about a half hour. And I'm using the middle shelf, and I'm pushing them all the way to the back. So we'll check on them in between like 25 minutes and 30 minutes. Okay, the 25-minute timer just went off. So I am going to pull these out. And they already look delicious, but I'm gonna give them a tap. And you wanna make sure that they kinda make that hollow noise. And I think they're pretty good. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to let them cool down totally for about 15 minutes or so, and we'll cut into one of them. I've actually made one extra of the sweet one, so that's one of the ones that we'll cut into. Okay, it's officially been 15 minutes, and it just looks delicious and delectable. I do like to cool them on a wire rack just so that it actually like fully cools. And let's get into it. Let's give it a cut. And you can hear kind of the texture. And it looks fantastic. It's kind of got that like, you know, sponginess that bagels have, but they look great. They're not done on the middle. And yeah, so I'm gonna throw some butter on this, and let's get this video closed up. I can't wait to dig into that. Okay, take two. So I did take a bite of this, but let me do one more for you. Just twist my arm. The bagel has the chewiness and will come out great toasted. This is my second batch trying this specific recipe. It's, like I said, it's only 5 ingredients. Pretty much have everything. If you're a baker in general, I love it because it does have yeast in it, so it does rise, but you don't have to wait. You don't have to knead and what have you, like you have to do with bread. And then if you saw my other little short that I did, my first batch was the everything bagel seasoning, and those turned out great as well. So my friends are waiting for me outside. I told them that I was making these, and so I'm gonna divvy some up and see what they think. But thanks for stopping by my little channel. And if you like recipes like this that you can use over and over again, hit that like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time on Christine's Routines. Take care and God bless. And now I'm just gonna finish this up. Whip up. One of my new favorite things to whip up is a homemade batch of bagels. It's actually only 5 ingredients. I think I said actually a couple times now. Actually. Perfect. So, thanks for stopping by. One of the fun things that, oh no, I think I have to start over. I think I have to take another bite. Shoot. Ingredients right in your pantry right now, but let me show you the different steps as I put it together. It's not happening today, is it?